Beautiful people. So I tried to upload a video earlier today and my technical skills are definitely not where they should be. So this is going to be the second version of that video. So I had talked a lot yesterday about goals and things like that for the channel, and I think one of the things that I talked about was nonviolent communication. This is something that interests me a lot. And I think the way that it can relate to people who are trying to make positive changes in their lives is this idea that there's really not things broken into categories of good and bad, that things are, they just are, they're not good, they're not bad. We have a tendency to like really group things in a crappy way, like, oh man, it's such an awful thing, or this is such a good thing. And especially when we're trying to make a change, at least I know for myself, when I make a mistake, I have a tendency to just talk to myself in a really awful way. Like, for example, if I smoke a cigarette and I've been trying not to smoke, the first thing I say to myself after I smoke that cigarette is like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You're so stupid. Why can't you ever get anything right? And something that I'm trying to cultivate in my life is to really treat myself with a little more love than that. Like, you wouldn't talk to a baby that was learning how to walk and be like, oh my God, you stupid baby, you keep falling down, what's wrong with you? And essentially we're trying to learn something new. We're trying to learn how to do something in our minds that maybe we aren't really used to doing. And we need to be really gentle with ourselves. We need to not be afraid to try and slow things down a little bit in our mind. And so I have a suggestion, something that I'm going to use for myself, and I'd be interested to hear if it works for you. Between now and my next video, every time I make a mistake or I, hear myself talking to myself that way, I am going to make an effort to, just be like, oh, well, I made a mistake, I did this thing that I said I wasn't going to do. I think, like, for example, smoking. I was feeling anxious, and so I had a cigarette because I had this need to calm myself down, and I used my cigarette to meet that need. And in the future, I don't want to meet my need that way. Instead, I want to deal with my anxiety with, maybe I'll have a carrot stick. Maybe I'll go for a walk. Maybe I will talk to somebody about how I'm feeling. Maybe, I'll just, write something down. So what I'm going to do this week or is the next couple of days is every time I have a negative thought about my diet or about my, not following through on something that I promised myself about, I'm going to write it down. And then I'm going to come up with a positive way of looking at it. I'm going to recognize the need that I felt like wasn't being met and the reason that I did what I did. And then I'm going to switch that whole wording around. So for example, with the smoking thing, I'm going to say to myself, I felt anxious. I had a need to calm myself down. I chose to smoke a cigarette, and that's okay because everybody, sometimes feels anxious. And next time I feel anxious, I'm going to do this and such. And I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I ate that, or I can't believe I didn't make time to exercise. I'm just going to practice a little more self-love and cultivate a better conversation between me, myself, and I. And I think, when you learn to talk to yourself a little nicer, it's bound to come out with other people too. We are all, we're all hard on ourselves, and probably most of us are harder on ourselves than anybody else is. So today I would just like to encourage you to talk to yourself a little nicer, be a little more forgiving to yourself, and maybe write down some of the negative self-talk that you have and think of ways that you can replace it. Start saying nice things to yourselves because, we're all amazing. We all are on this earth at a time that many people aren't. We have a lot to learn. We're all growing. And it just makes so much sense for us to be more loving and kind, first to ourselves and then to everybody else. So that's what I was thinking about today. I hope that it brought you a little bit of inspiration. I would love to hear about some of your negative talk patterns and how you think you could correct them. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And please leave me a comment so we can talk about all this stuff. Thanks, guys.